Well, I moved here in 2010, 10 years ago, and had a really very positive relationship in New Mexico with the CEO of the New Mexico Pharmacy Association, a good friend of ours, Dale Tinker. And Dale said before I got here, he said, there's this guy in Missouri who's from Fitzwater. I think you're going to get along well. So I said, I'll give this guy a try. I think it started then. We may have started playing golf about 10 years ago. The fact is, this guy is a mucho better golf player than I am. And he tolerates me playing golf with him for the quality of the conversation. So it's 10 years. It's been, and I tell people, my best friend in Missouri is Ron Fitzwater. I tell everybody that. And so that's a special relationship. And the neat thing from my perspective is we trust each other. We have each other back constantly. We're honest with one another, and he's my best friend.
I would echo the comments. When John and I first met, it was just a partnership. We just bonded. We had a passion for pharmacy. I'm not a pharmacist, but I have a passion for pharmacists. John is a pharmacist, but he's in a position where he's not behind the counter, but we just connected. We enjoyed what we were doing. We enjoyed each other. Our spouses enjoy each other, and it's just been a great partnership, I think, for Missouri pharmacists, and it's been good for Missouri pharmacy. But we've enjoyed every minute of it. We go to Cardinals games. We do things outside of the office, but when we are at social events, we're talking business, which is the fun part to me.
So we go to opening day together every year for the Cardinals, which is an amazing time, and it's become a ritual. And after I'm retired and out of here, I'm going to continue to come back to St. Louis and go to opening day with Ron. And we just wouldn't be the same without doing that. Interestingly, we find ourselves, for example, at the annual convention every night, hanging out with one another. Many times at this meeting, we'll go out to dinner together. It's a special thing.
And I've told you, when I talk to my colleagues, they'll say, man, we're really struggling with our pharmacy schools in our state, filling the state. And I look at them and I say, fighting with your schools of pharmacy, they are our anchor in Missouri. Yeah. And St. Louis is one of those anchors that we depend on. So we have had a positive relationship, and I think we've been able to send resources both ways, and it's benefited pharmacists and pharmacy in the state.
And it's a model around the country. Other people ask me, and I say, we have the model relationship. This is, if you go around the country and say, where's their relationship between state association and a college of pharmacy, this is the model. I think Becky Sneed would say that too.
And I think our association, when we get presented an opportunity, which we did from one of the national associations, my mind begins to say, how can we connect the schools?
Yeah.
We got a grant from Cardinal Health Foundation, and part of it was we will go to a state where the association has a relationship with the pharmacy schools, and we met the definition very quickly and got the grant because we get along. We work.
Yeah, it's there. I do think we had the first jointly shared employee between a college of pharmacy and a state association in the country. And that's a demonstration of how deeply committed we are to working together. Yeah, it's not hard to work with somebody who's your best friend. That's just what it is.
I would agree. Yeah. It's worked for pharmacy in Missouri.
It's worked for pharmacy.
And that's what we've been focused on. Well, I would say from my perspective, we took a concept, which was Missouri Pharmacists Care Network, to the college and said, we need to take it to the next level. We need to bring in a full-time employee that can dedicate their time just to Pharmacists Care Network. And it took me about 5 minutes to talk to John. He caught the vision and said, we're in. We want to be a part of moving pharmacy forward in the state of Missouri. So I would say that is the one that is really the kingpin, but everything we've done legislatively, you have always supported Legislative Day and everything we've done, but Missouri Pharmacy Care Network is probably the one that stands out to me.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think, the MOPCN has been really important to the college as well as the pharmacists in the state. And I had a passion for it coming here, and, Ron was able to articulate a vision for us to support. And, we have been in a position that we've had the kind of resources that we could commit to really practice development in the state of Missouri. And it needed this kind of structure to do this. Ron provided the vision and the insight to do it, and so it's been really special. The Missouri Pharmacists Care Network has been a really special initiative, and we spent a lot of time talking about how this thing is to be rolled out and managed, and what the milestones were. And it's been really fun to see this evolve, and now it's moved on to a bunch of other grant opportunities and innovations that I think are really important for future pharmacists in Missouri, and that's exciting.
And I would say the other thing, and kudos to you, but you have a little bit more flexibility being a private college.
Definitely.
Of being able to get involved with us, but you've always pushed back on me and how can we make sure that UMKC School of Pharmacy is involved in this project, because they're under budget restrictions. They have to run their budget through the state of Missouri, and they don't quite have the flexibility you have, but you've always been concerned that everybody in Missouri is involved in the projects, and that, to me, that is unique. I mean, you could have said, we got this little thing going, we basically represent the state of Missouri, but we don't have to involve, and you've always made sure that all of pharmacy has been involved, and I've always appreciated that because it didn't have to be that way, but we've been able to bring them in, and they have been great partners also.
They have been. It's the third leg of our partnership, and I think Russ has been a big supporter of everything we've done here, and I've been pleased to see the accomplishments we've made, Ron. It's amazing. When you talk to people around the country about what's happening in Missouri, I think a significant part of the uniqueness of this relationship is our partnership of you and I. And I think it's led to amazing things in Missouri pharmacy.
My answer would be we'd love to go to Cardinals baseball
We
games.
do love to go to Cardinals baseball
Love
games.
Cardinals baseball games.
Neither
Neither one of us are really good golfers, but we love golf, and we're always looking for
Ron is a good golfer. I'm a hacker. Ron is a good golfer, and I learn from him. I like to golf with him because I learn how to improve my game. But our baseline love is Cardinals baseball, and I'm blessed that Ron, is willing to come to St. Louis as much as he is. I tell my wife all the time. Every time I make this drive to Jefferson City, I say to myself, Ron makes this trip from Jefferson City to Missouri or to St. Louis and back all the time, and I'm tired when I do it. But I probably do 1/10 of the travel that Ron does. He comes to St. Louis much more frequently than I come to Jefferson City. So I've really been blessed to have somebody who's willing to get in a car and drive and come and see us, much more than I've been willing to come to Jefferson City. So that's a challenging drive, and every time I make that drive, I think of you. And I think about all the times you came to St. Louis, and it's amazing. We have other great, really wonderful memories of going to Mike Shannon's, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, down on Market Street in St. Louis. And we would kind of have our secret little celebrations at Mike Shannon's, just the two of us. And occasionally somebody else would come into town and go with us to Mike Shannon's, but those were special nights in Mike Shannon's, where we would look at Cardinals memorabilia in Mike Shannon's, and talk about the games, and talk about Mike, and talk about Cardinal greats from the past. But those were special nights, and it's gone now. Those nights will not happen again.
They'll happen. It'll just be a different place.
It'll be a
But the
different
unique
place.
thing is, we would watch baseball games, we would go golfing, we would do other events, but our main conversation was pharmacy, what's best for Missouri pharmacists, what are the problems, how can a school help the association? How can the association help the school? I mean, we're always talking about your profession, my passion.
Yep, and our strategic plans were always really integrated. As I thought about strategic planning at the colleges, how does this mirror the strategic plan of the association? And so we could share resources, and we could both achieve some of our strategic initiatives by sharing resources and ideas together. It made our college much better. I mean, it's a much better college than it would have been without this relationship. And as Ron pointed out, I mean, this kind of relationship doesn't exist everywhere. This is relatively unique, and to have this closeness between two people at the head of two organizations, I think it's a uniqueness, and it's amazing. And interestingly, to kind of close that loop, I've gone back and told Dale Tinker at New Mexico. I said, Dale, you were right. As close as Dale and I were, we were never as close as Ron and I are. And so it's one of the great memories I'm going to have of my 10 and soon to be 11 years here is this relationship with Ron. And it's going to be hard to leave. And I told him tonight, I'm coming back on opening day for the Cardinals. Until I'm as old as my mother, who's 95, I will come back every year. And we're doing opening day together.
And spring training.
And spring training.
Yeah.
And spring training in Jupiter.
I think for me, it is when we were able to seal the deal on Missouri Pharmacist Care Network, because I think that's when we took Missouri Pharmacy from we're watching the game to we want to be in the game, we want to help change the future of healthcare. It's been a challenge to take that vision, and we've had a lot of tough conversations on did we make the right move? How do we make the move? How do we kind of tweak the move? But for me, it was taking pharmacists from putting pills in the bottle to saying, we're creating a network where you can really participate in the process if you want to participate.
I would agree with that. I also think that, one of the things I think we've done uniquely well here is Legislative Day. And I'm always excited to see, when we would have 200, 300, 400 pharmacy students from our college come to Jefferson City, and to get excited about the legislative process, to understand that the impact that Ron has had in the legislature, and it's enabled our students to be able to see themselves coming after they graduate back to the legislature to make an impact on the legislative process. I think that's a unique opportunity, and it's done at a higher level and a more impactful level here than anywhere in the country. I'm absolutely convinced of that. So one of the things I think that as I first came to a Legislative Day 10 years ago, and Ron and I spent some time thinking about, how do we expand the impact of this opportunity? It has grown and grown and grown to the point now that I have students who are dying to come. They can't wait to come. They see themselves potentially in the future as future legislators, which is unheard of 10 years ago. I think that's been very impactful, and I think we'll reap the benefits of that for the next 20 years, Ron. I think as we look at pharmacists in the future, we're going to be committed to running, for legislative seats, and some of them winning and some of them making a big impact in the future based on the seeds that we planted.
Well, I think that's a very important point. I mean, I remember standing at the podium in the old days and seeing 100, 125, basically pharmacists, a few students that would come in, and then that first year where we had 500 to 600 people in the audience, and the impact we had with legislators when we went to the Capitol. Yeah. And the powerful part of it is, the message we try to get across. We've got pharmacy professionals coming to the Capitol. They see the white coats. They don't really know if they're pharmacists or pharmacy students, but they know that they're individuals that are passionate about their profession. And I hear comments every year from legislators saying, holy cow, how many pharmacists did you have in the Capitol? I said, we had a lot. But yes, it has been a huge impact, and it took us from just being there again to being noticed and recognized. So I agree that has been a fun part, and I think I answered in our board meeting today that my most favorite day is legislative day. I just look forward to it, and having to cancel it this year was a tough decision, but we did what was right for the times. But not being able to take that group of energetic individuals into the Capitol was tough.
It was tough.
Well, for me, I mean, I've got someone that I can call and say, wow. I mean, I've got something that's really got me sideways. I need some advice, or wow, something really exciting's happened to me. I mean, I really appreciated John's predecessor. I mean, Tom and I got along very well, but it wasn't that kind of relationship where we had a personal relationship where I could call and share things that are outside of my box. With John, I feel like the box is pretty wide. I can share personal things, business things. So for me, it's going to be kind of who's the new person coming in. Can we build that kind of relationship? And I realize the world has changed since we built our relationship.
Yeah.
But is it someone that gets me as an individual in addition to MPA? So that's the thing that I get concerned about. I'm really excited for him, though, that get to move on to the next phase.
I'm looking forward to retirement, and but I'm going to miss this a lot. And I'm going to miss, although I'm involved in international and national pharmacy organizations in a pretty significant way. Your home base is what's important, and it's this relationship, it's this home relationship with Ron, with the pharmacists in this state that are special, and so I'm going to miss it a lot. But again, the commitment is going to be, I'm coming back, and we're going to maintain our personal relationship without any doubt.
I guess my final advice would be, this last year, we need to make it special. The world has changed. Pharmacists' world has changed. At the end of the day, it's all about the students coming into, and as they move into their profession. And we need to make it special for them. I mean, they're coming in, I mean, we present it from our perspective, our experiences. Their experiences are totally different. And sometimes that's a challenge. That we're trying to create a world that we don't really know because we've never lived in. We need to make it their pharmacy world. So, one, I hope we can make this year last as long as possible. So hopefully those 365 days or whatever we have left go as long as possible. But two, just that we just kind of enjoy what it is as it is. And as you say, retirement day is not going to be the end day, it's just going to be a different day.
Yeah.
But I got the opportunity to be invited to your confirmation. I'm probably picking the wrong word, but when you first came to St. Louis, and I hope I get invited to the retirement party. It won't really be a retirement party. It'll be we're changing course a little bit.
Yeah.
We're still focused. I'm sure when we play golf, when we go to Cardinals games, we're going to be talking pharmacy.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I think that, it's a special relationship, and you look back when you have these special relationships with people in your life, and I think sometimes you don't appreciate it when you're going through it. But I think, one of the things I've always said, and I've shared with my wife on a regular basis, this person who lives in Jefferson City is a dear friend of mine, and and I tell everybody my best friend in Missouri, and it's going to be hard for me to transition from that. And I don't know what I'll do. My kids are worried about me, leaving these connections and what I'm going to do in the middle of rural Colorado, and I'm a little worried about it as well. But I always know I have a friend in Jefferson City, and I always know there's an opening day. for us to get.
Jefferson City's 2 hours from St. Louis.
Exactly.
We can get there quick.
Exactly.
And it's a plane flight from Jupiter.
Yep.